Welcome to the experience with Rehman Cee, where I talk to real people about real stories on real life. And today I've got Ruchi Nayak with me, and I'm going to bring her on board. So, Ruchi, how are you?
I'm doing great, Rahman. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely awesome. Feel great. It's fantastic. It's early in the morning, and I love it. So, so what's been happening today for you?
Oh, I think today was fairly a simple day. I'd gone to pick up my grandmom, to bring her to my house because she lives alone in the other part of the city. And yeah, it's a beautiful weather here. It's monsoon, so just been enjoying the weather, having a cup of tea, having a routine, normal life day. I mean, since the lockdown is getting lifted in India, so fairly seeing that things are slowly moving in a positive manner.
Nice. So, where are you? You're in India. Which part of India?
I live in Mumbai. I
Okay.
am born and brought up in Mumbai. Been living here since about 35 years.
How is
So
it?
yeah,
What's life like in Mumbai?
pretty fast, very, very fast, I would say. It's busy because you don't really keep account on your time because you travel in train, you travel by road. There is so much of traffic. There's so many people, and yeah, the life here is pretty much fast and comparative to other parts of the city in India. To be
Yeah,
honest.
a lot of the people I've been speaking to have actually been from Mumbai, not by any plan of mine, but it's just the way I think a lot more people are maybe online and busy in Mumbai. Um, and I went to Mumbai probably about, I don't know, 15 years back. So it's
That's a
been,
long
huh?
time. That's a
Yeah,
long
it's
time.
15 years ago, Mumbai. I've only been there once. I've been to a few other places in India. I've been to India many times, but Mumbai only went once. But it was interesting. So let's get into the show, Ruchi.
Yep.
So my question to you is, what's your message to the world?
My, I have a very simple, message for people. Just be positive in life, and just stay calm, no matter how hard the situation in life could get for you. Um, and yeah, just spread love because the only thing that is going to keep you going is, being calm with all the situations that you face in life. Because the more anxious we get with difficulties that we face in our life, um, it gets a little tough for every individual. The situations are different, so I would say just keep your positivity and calmness in sync, and I think you're going to be able to get through with anything that you are facing in life.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point about being calm. I haven't heard that before. So where do you get this idea of calmness from?
Well, I have been a very, I could say I have been a very rebellious and a whimsical person all, when I was young, when I was a teenager. Like, I always wanted to do something beyond what people around me have done. Whether it is, it could be anything, even starting a career from the scratch, so, and no matter how hard the situations have been for me, I've learned one thing, that the more calmer you are able to tackle your situations rationally, than being irrational or taking very hasty steps. That is one thing that has helped me grow as an individual, because I have taken very irrational or hasty step, because I have been a very, very hyperactive person, to be honest, like when I was a teenager. But then over the course of time, I mean, I changed that pattern about myself, because that made me understand that only if you are calm you're able to take the right decisions you know
Okay, so we'll get into that then. Let's go back to early history. Mum and dad, talk to me about your parents. How did they raise you? What was their style of parenting?
Right. So my father was from Gujarat. He started his based in Mumbai, say around 30 to 33 years ago. And my mom and dad, they got married, and I was the first child in the family, so I have been super pampered. I have been very I've been one of the favorite child in the family because I was the first daughter in the family. And yeah, so my parents had to my mom and dad both had different way of bringing me up. My mom is one of the person who has always been who comes with an ideology of letting go and giving you the freedom that you want. Wherein my father has been a little how every father would be, a little protective and very strict in certain manner. Um, I I was not really the kind of a child who had a freedom to choose what I want to study, because obviously back in the days, if you go to see 20 years ago, my at least my parents did not really have the knowledge, the kind of stream that you could choose. How kids today have that opportunity because of the social media, or maybe you can say the digital age that we all have. Because um, so I was pampered. I was very quiet introvert kind of a child. So when I cleared my schooling, and when I had to go to college, I didn't really know too many streams or options that I could have to make a career. So all I knew was we had three options: arts, commerce, or science. Science, obviously I couldn't take it because I was not a scholar child. So the only option, my father said, okay, you need to take commerce, because he had studied his graduation in commerce. So that's about your accounts, finance, management, and things like that. So yeah, I did take admission in commerce, and I was never really I didn't really want to study that, to be honest. I wanted to do either sound engineering, or I wanted to get into photography as one of my career options. But obviously, being brought up in a Gujarati family, or I'm not, saying this because I was quite protected by my family, and they were quite insecure about if you send your child to a hostel, how are you going to be able to cope up? So no one in my family has ever been through that phase, so, because I was the first child. So my father was a little skeptical of sending me to another city for my schooling or further education, because he thought that, what if I go and get trapped in the wrong company? So, which is one of the reasons I couldn't really pursue the career that I wanted to. And obviously, financial situation was another thing, because when you want to do photography or sound engineering, your fees are quite relatively high as compared to the normal educational, the graduational, subjects that you would take. So that was another reason that I couldn't pursue what I wanted to pursue back in the days. So, which is when I did my graduation in commerce, and I swam through because I didn't really like what I was doing. So I took a drop in my, graduation as well. And yeah, so I did clear my graduation with a lot of obstacles, I would say, because I really was very disinterested in what I was doing. So I've never been the kind of a person who has been very studious, but yeah, but I was always passionate about doing something more, trying something different than what everyone is trying to do. And that has been clearly the reason that wherever I am today, I'm completely with my own merit, I would say, with my own hard work, to be honest, and support of the people around me.
So where are you right now? Where are you
Um,
today?
So to be honest, if I tell someone that I started when I was 18 is when I started working, because I wanted to have my own freedom, my individual identity I wanted to create. So when I was 18, I started working. 18 or 19, to be honest, is when I started working in a call center back in 2003, 2004, I believe, is when I started working in a call center in Mumbai. At that time, I did face a lot of trouble, to be honest, because being a girl, working during the night time in a corporate company. You don't really know the kind of atmosphere that's going to be there. I did face a lot of difficulty during that time because I think my parents didn't really were not really well versed with the fact that what is a call center and what is the system out there. What is it that you work as an individual, and why is it that you work in the night? So I started my career working in a call center as a customer service representative. Um, Over the course of time, I did learn a lot of things. Like didn't really know how what is hierarchy. To be honest, when you're just like 19 years old, you don't really know how corporate life functions. What are the things that you deal with, and how do you tackle situations? After which I did get saturated, and is when I decided to leave call center, and I wanted to do something where I could get a daytime job. Um, and that's when I got into human resources. I joined a company where I was handling and managing recruitments for big financial firms and Middle East countries as well. So I worked in that industry for about 3 years, and post which, after working in that industry for 3 years, I just felt that I could do more than what I'm doing with my life. I was more interested in I was more attracted to doing some sort of a thing which would bring my which would actually enhance my skills. I wanted to do something which would keep me on my toes, not really something that is too monotonous. Is when I decided to become a publicist. I didn't know anything about how do you become a publicist. What is it that you need to do in order to become a publicist? Fortunately, I was quite lucky, I would say. I got a chance. I broke through in the industry back in 2012, and here I am. I'm working. I have been successful since past 8+ years, and have managed some really good brands. From brands like H&M, Sephora. I've managed some Indian brands like High Design. I've managed brands like I've managed a portfolio of different brands. I've managed luxury watches, trunks. So it's been a great journey. Like, if you go to see, there has not been too much of stability in my career, but I can definitely say I've learned a lot, and I really like what I'm doing. And wherever I see myself today, I'm quite proud of my own self.
Very nice. So, like, for those people who don't understand, what is a publicist?
So, public relations is basically where you build a brand from the scratch. For instance, like you are a personality. To build you as a brand, you would need a person who is a publicist, who knows the media very well, who can build you and your image in a positive manner. Even if there are crises, the job of a publicist is in order to put the light on the positivity that you are trying to share about your own brand, whether it is promoting on various platforms, whether it is newspapers, your magazines, electronic, and now it's social media, because that's how you're able to reach larger audience.
Okay, so it's basically the old
Build,
version of social media marketing, which is like public relations, right? So
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, they used to have that word public relations, and now it's gone a little bit down. It's more like social media marketing, personal branding, that kind of stuff, right?
Yes, because if you go to see in the past few years, the media, the landscape of the media has changed in a certain manner. Like, you see in India specifically, I would say the landscape has changed to a level where earlier we used to pick up the newspapers from the stand and we wanted to read the magazines. But now everything is on the click of your phone, right? So you, public relations and social media has now got a little in sync together, because that's where the future is. That's where everything is going to lead tomorrow. I do not really see newspaper coming to my house, to be honest. Everyone wants to either have an easy access on their phone, because that's the way you wasting less paper, you are trying to, get the information that you need, you're able to go anywhere, stop by, read whatever you want with, every where everything is just on your palm, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's been interesting. So you're the eldest. There are others below you?
I have a younger brother. He lives in Canada,
Okay.
and he's married. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
And then talk to me about like your grandparents and how they. You also mentioned the Gujarat or being a Gujarati. What does
yeah.
that mean? Because some of my audience may not know. And how did your grandparents influence your parents? How did your parents get married? And
Mhm.
talk to me a little bit more about your personality in terms of your parents' personality.
Okay. So my grandparents are, they basically were born and raised in Gujarat. My maternal grandparents were living in Mumbai, and where my mom also was from Mumbai, and my dad was from Gujarat. Gujarat is a state in India, where you would find all the Gujaratis. Like, it's the kind of a different culture. It's like how you have, Parsis, you have Gujarati. So we have different cultures. So if you go to Rajasthan, you would find people who are majority Marwaris. So that's a different language that India has a different, states, and every state has different languages. So I belong to Gujarat, which is northern part of India. So my grandparents have been very religious people. So we have when they were alive. I mean, we were taught of getting up early in the morning, doing your religious prayers. Every single day, even before every single meal that we have, we do our prayers like every other
What
religion.
was the
Like,
tradition that you followed?
Every morning when I get up, I have to have, after you shower, you need to pray in front of your little temple that you have in the house.
Right.
You do your religious prayers to your Lord Vishnu, to Lord, Shankar, or even the goddess that you believe in. The idea behind this is to put a system or a practice in place so that you are, you follow a particular path. You are. Yeah, what's that word? You basically become more systematic.
Yeah,
You
you
take
have
what you're
habits and
going to do.
routines.
Exactly. It's basically to put you in a daily routine, so that you don't really, like, you have something to focus on every single day. So even after that, when you go to school, or when you're having a meal together with a family, the meals are supposed to be had, with your family together, so that you all sit together, you talk, you basically ideate, or those little moments brings the family together, right? So even when you have your everyday meal, we do our small little prayer, and that's when you start your meal. And even when you're going off to sleep, you need to end your day with a small prayer, whatever that could be, that has been taught to you. And yeah, that's kind of imbibed in me since I was a child, to be honest. And yeah, and also during festivities, like, we have these little moments where every Diwali, when my entire maternal family, we all get together, and we, it's just a way to meet your family together under one roof, and celebrate the festivity. And that's when we do these little prayers, and they sing a little song of the Lord and things like that. So it's fun. At the same time, you get to see faces of your cousins or your family. It's a beautiful feeling. So that's what I've been taught, since the time I grew up, and that's what I've seen as a culture in my family.
Yeah. So talk to me about your mum and your dad. Describe their
um,
personalities. How did they meet?
Right. So my mom and dad, they never really saw each other before. It was more of an arranged marriage.
Right.
My mom got a proposal of my dad because my maternal grandfather, he was friends with, one of the uncle who lived in Gujarat, and he knew my dad's family pretty well. And he said that, I think your daughter is of the right age. And, I know this guy who lives in Gujarat who's working in Kuwait. And my dad used to work in Kuwait at that time, and he's looking for a girl to get married and settled and things like that. So that's how. And my mom was younger one. Like, my mom had an elder sister at that time. She was like, why are you guys getting me married when my elder sister has not yet got married? Why am I supposed to get married first? So she got into that anxious mode, and but then, I think my mom and dad, they met, and the families met, and they liked each other. And that's how the entire marriage functioned. Like, because my grandfather, he was like, if you don't meet the guy, how do you know that you're not going to like the family or the person? And she met my father, and she didn't really have anything negative to say no to the relation, right? So which is when my grandparents is they stepped in, and they said that, I think if you don't have anything negative point to refuse the marriage proposal, then why should you? And that's how they got married, to be honest. My dad has been a very introvert as an individual. He doesn't really he speaks to very few people. He loves singing. He's been very, and he used to love playing cricket back in the days. Now he can't because he's old and he has some knee problems. But he loves singing. And my mom is a housewife. She was working as a receptionist at another place back in the days, and that they struggled a lot to raise us to a level where we are today. They bought their individual house over here in Mumbai, and once I was born is when my dad decided to buy this house where I'm living right now. So practically, I've been living in the same house since past 30 years. So it's been a beautiful struggling journey for them, where they both hand in hand supported each other. I've seen them, my dad had lost his job when I was pretty young, and he had a lot of tough time, when there was recession in Mumbai, and he had to literally struggle to raise us at a point. He didn't really, which is when I was also working in a call center, and it was a difficult phase in our life. But I think those phases has taught us to be together as a family, got us more to, more closer to each other, to understand each other better. Um, yeah, and my mom, as a person, she's a very extrovert person. She's completely opposite of my father. She loves meeting people. She loves to talk to so many individuals. She has a different way to, understand and face any situation in life. She has a different take on life. She doesn't really go with the same, you know, do this or do that. She would say that, do what your heart says, and that's what I believe, and I have been following, to be honest. If someone tells me that this is wrong, and if I feel that, that path would be right for me because I think I want to do it, I want to take that risk because it's worth taking, I would want to take that risk. I would not really listen to what the other person has to say. It's okay to fall on your face, to be honest, because that's how you learn. If you don't fall on your face, you are not going to learn from that, decision that you have taken for yourself. And that's where the nature in me, has come to me from my parents. Like, I am a little introvert, but at the same time, I like taking challenges in life, and that's how I've been living all this while.
Yeah. So you're more like your mum than your father. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I would say that.
Okay. And then, do you have any regrets so far in the decisions you've made?
um, yes, I do have a few regrets. I never really saved money when I started earning at an early age. But then, nevertheless, I don't really find that as a problem because I do feel that I must have not really saved when it was the right time for me to save. I've taken few bad decisions in life. I've taken hasty steps in life, and but that has not really made me depressed or upset. I would say that has changed me as a person to think in a broader perspective. So yeah, I do feel that sometimes when we are immature, we take a few decisions, and that's, I mean, for example, I had an opportunity to go for my further studies, a couple of years ago, and I didn't really take it seriously. But now, when I sit back and think about it, I was like, I think I should have done that, and just because I was finding it too difficult, or maybe I was not really ready to switch my base from one country to another for even a short span of time or brief time. I didn't really take that decision seriously at that point. So that's something that I would definitely regret. But I feel there is no um, way I'm just going to sit back and think about it over and over again. You know.
Yeah. What would you have studied and where?
So I wanted to do marketing, and I wanted to. I had an option to go to London, but I did not because I was too young, and I think maybe I had this whole philosophy in my head that I just want to be in my country. I love my country way too much, and which is one of the reason I never really thought of getting out of my comfort zone, and that is one of the reason. But when I think about it, I feel that maybe that. You know master's degree would have helped me to grow even further. You know what I mean, because whenever you try to progress in life, you want to learn more. You want to, if you would have done that particular education in the right timing, it would basically help you to sort of grow in your field. And I wanted
Mhm.
to do something in marketing, to be honest, because that's where um, you know adding something more to what I had learned already.
Yeah. So you became a self-employed publicist. Is that correct? You chose to
No,
just
so No, so I started working with an agency, which was in 2012, where we managed brands like Montblanc, Globetrotter, and a couple of other, international and Indian designers. So I worked with the company called Ideate Media Solutions in 2012. I've been working with, luxury boutique PR agencies in Mumbai, and that's how I have enhanced my skills through the years. And to be honest, I have worked across the verticals. So be it luxury, be it fashion, be it beauty, I have my hands on all the sectors. So I can work in any sector because I've been more comfortable working and taking up new challenges. Yeah.
yeah, but this is promotion in India, right?
Yes. On
Across
a pan
India.
India level. Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
But are you still working for, like, are you self-employed now, or do you still work for an agency?
So I was working for an agency until July. I have taken a break right now. I am on a short break and planning to switch my. Obviously, I'm going to work as a publicist in the company, but I'm looking for the right opportunity. And since I've taken a break, I'm just taking this break to just be with my family and uh, hibernate myself for a bit or rejuvenate myself, and
Right,
that's
right.
when I'm going to start working. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I tend to feel like you took the risk of becoming a publicist, working for a public. Uh,
relations company. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So, I almost feel that the decision you wanted to make, you made. Do you get what I'm saying? Rather than
yes,
it being a regret, it was the right decision. Because where you needed to go bold, you did go bold. So
of course.
it's not a case of not taking the risk. It was more that wasn't the right decision for you.
So no, so I'll tell you one thing. When I started my career in public relations in 2012, when I quit working as a recruiter, I was at a pay scale. For example, I would say 20 grand a month or 15,000 a month, and I took a drop in my salary, say about 5,000 rupees at that point, and I took that risk is because I wanted to learn something that I really want to, the kind of industry that I want to see myself. And I
Right.
was willing to take that risk, and I did that. And to be honest, I think my work was appreciated. My hard work was seen by my bosses, and they saw that the kind of growth that I have been able to achieve in the short span of time. And I was able to reach the same salary within the next 6 months. to be honest. So I feel that, it is not what I feel that, you should not listen to what people have to say. If you think you're going to be able to do something with your heart and soul, I think just go for it. And that's exactly what I did. And today I can say that, I'm quite happy with my own decisions, because when I tried to take that, switch in my career from recruitment to being a public relations person, my family was against it. My father was like, how are you being so unstable in life? Because he was right in his, own way, because he's seen things and life in his own perspective. And he told me that, it's not really a good thing to take a drop in your salary, because you reached a level and now you're going down, you're going 10 steps back. But I couldn't really explain it to him in words, but I was happy to take that risk, to be
Yeah, yeah,
honest. And,
yeah. The words were money doesn't matter, and you have
yeah,
to focus on what you want to
yeah,
experience. Yeah. Um,
exactly.
so, you said you went to a call center at 18 and things were difficult. What was the difficulty as a girl working in a call center?
So for me, it was, for example, how you leave the child in a Disneyland, like, you all of a sudden you have freedom to do whatever you want. You are independent. You are earning a really good salary, where you can, do anything. You can buy anything for with your own money. You can go wherever you want to. You have that leeway and liberty. The difficulty was my parents didn't really understand. Like, my mom was supportive. I explained her, and she was, she had that openness to accept things, wherein my father didn't really understand why is it that you want to work, and why is it that you want to work during odd hours. Because call centers in India, when they started, obviously we all had night shifts. Everything was outsourced from US or the other parts of the countries, right? So the timing is what was a problem for me. And my parents would not really understand, why would you want to work and earn that extra money. And I had to explain them that I do not really want to take the money, for my expenses from you. I want to be independent, so that I am able to take my own decisions. I want to be able to get anything that I want with my hard earned money, rather than, taking help or, borrowing it from you. I
Yeah,
mean, parents in India usually have been, raising their children in a certain way, that they want to do things for their children with their own willingness. It's not like, they want to make them handicapped, but it's a culture that they have also seen when they were growing up. But I was the first child, and I wanted to change that for myself, not to set an example for anybody else. And that was a bold step for me and my family at that time. But when they understood, okay, they actually came to cross check or verify where I work. Why is it that, what is the place that I work in? What are the kind of people that I would be meeting? And just in order to see that you have safety and security, we did have, our office vehicle to, pick us up and drop us back home. And we had, like, I mean, it was a huge company, it was a corporate organization. But when they saw the entire space, and when they learned how it all functions, I had to actually make them sit down and understand, like, this is how it works, this is what we do, and this is why we are working in the night shift. And that's when it slowly, they got a little comfortable about it. They were not completely okay with it, because it kind of gets, your routine is sort of tampered, to be honest. You work in the night, you sleep in the day. You're not able to, have that personal, normal routine life, because you would not be able to interact with your family when they're awake, because by the time you are awake, they are either at their workspaces, they're not home. So
yeah,
that kind of, and it also, sometimes when you don't really sleep during the night, it's always said that, sleeping during the night also brings healthy, it sets a healthy lifestyle. And that also kind of tampers, to be honest. Like, those are the small difficulties that I did face back in the past. And
right.
um,
So
yeah.
how is India now, and how has it developed? Like, right in the beginning, at that time, I'm sure India jumped at all the chances of call centers and getting um, business from abroad. and people who didn't understand the call center phenomenon, everybody rushed to become an employee at call centers. How has that changed? If you're familiar with it, how has the culture, the outlook, and the approach changed in India on that?
So I would say that, there was a boom, I would say, back in 2003, 2004, when the call centers were outsourced in India. The market was a different space altogether. I've worked with, I have seen the companies like Vodafone or um, IBM, or even, American Express, or, there were these Barclays Bank. There were so many companies that were outsourced to India. And back in the days, there were so many opportunities. There are so many people who actually made their life, who bought their houses, who got settled, and made an income out of it. Slowly, I do feel that the market started slowing down because many countries basically wanted to stop the outsourcing business. It's not like it's completely stopped here right now, but the kind of opportunity that were there back in the days has kind of slowed down, and the market has changed. For the generation today, I feel they all have tremendous opportunities in multiple fields, to be honest. Whether be it your entertainment, be it media, be it finance or IT. India being one of the top IT, has got one of the top IT hub in the south of India. So I mean, we do have many opportunities. The market has changed. To be honest, from the past 8 years, as you know, I mean, I've told you that I've been working as a publicist. The market that I had seen 8 years ago is completely changed right now. I would also give an example, because by the means of the whole lockdown situation that happened across the world, it also has affected India too, on many different levels. In the past 5 months, there has been so many small businesses which has shut down. But however, things are moving digitally. The landscape is changing. People are changing the format, the way they're working. So it's not like there are. I mean, if someone tells me there people have, many people have lost their jobs, but then I would also say that if you look for opportunities, there are plenty other opportunities as well. There are people who are starting something of their own, to be honest. Like I've known people who have left their jobs and they're doing something what they're passionate about in life, you know.
Yeah, it's really interesting the journey you explained to me. Um, Before I ask that question, tell me a little bit more about Indian culture. I know it's a very diverse country, uh,
Hmm.
but what's the psyche of India right now? Talk to me a little bit about India, where it
um
is.
okay. I think over the past 5 months, I've seen a lot of change in every individual that I have been surrounded to. People have become a little more, empathetic towards, people have more empathy for each other. And people have got to grown to be more sensitive towards every individual that they are surrounded. To be honest, when the lockdown happened, everyone started getting very anxious. Like a person like me who has always been, who's never been at home, since the time when before the lockdown, I used to never be at home. My parents felt that I'm going to get very, very anxious, and I'm going to start having those tantrums of my own self, where I will not be able to stick at home in one place, because I'm not that kind of a person. I like going outside. I like meeting people. I love to travel. Even if there is no work, I would want to step out for a few hours. But I think the entire situation in the country has changed. People have started being more caring for each other. People have become more kind. I have received calls from people. I have received messages from people, asking me that I hope you're doing okay. I know it's a difficult time for all of us, that we are facing. Staying at home, working from home, the pressure is increasing. You're not able to meet people. You're not, because in India, as we have this culture where every single festivities or any celebration, you just want to go out, you want to meet people, you want to hug them, you want to, just you want a reason to celebrate, you want a reason to just meet people, and that's
Right.
not been happening. And it has changed people around me, at least that I've seen, that they've called me, they've asked me, like, are you doing all right? My birthday was celebrated in a lockdown situation. Like, all my friends came online, gave me a surprise that 12 o'clock we did a Zoom call, and it was so nice to see everyone's face, though from distance, they made me feel so special. So these are the small changes that I've been seeing and noticing, and I hope that this continues even after the lockdown opens up. Because it is very important for you to be kind and nice to other person. It's not always necessary that we are all in a right frame of mind to be positive always, but I'm really happy to see that change and the culture that has been picking up on every single individual, and people are being more conscious about what to say or the way they are dealing with people around them.
Yeah. But I was saying it's very interesting. I was looking at your journey, and it all seems very it's very consistent across the whole culture about the idea of education and restriction and doing what is safe as opposed to what you want to do. The exploration is always seems to be limited. Is this uh, do you feel that it's more related to um, girls, or is it both guys and girls? The culture is that you focus on not exploration, but doing what's the standard thing or the safer thing to do.
I didn't get you. I mean, in what perspective?
Like, for example, you went through the whole educational system and then you
Hmm.
wanted to do photography, you wanted to do sound engineering, you didn't
Right.
do it, you went another way. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the initial identity is one thing, the advice is something different. So there is not a representation of you in that decision making. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it seems to be a common trait, as I understand it, that you're not trying to be, you're not, when you grow up, as I understand it, in a very general sense, in the Indian
Hmm.
culture, you're not trying to fulfill potential. You're trying to um, you're following a system that works, that is safe. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you
Yeah.
try and go outside that system, then you have you're in a danger zone, because then you everybody's watching you to see if you actually don't make it, you know?
So, Rahman, I mean, when I never really had the choice of taking the kind of decisions that I wanted to in pursuing my education back in the days, because obviously, A, my parents wouldn't be able to afford it. B, they were, a little more protective about me. I mean, it was pretty okay. And as I grew up, I was not really sure of what I wanted to do, because if I would have studied something that I wanted to back in the days, I would have been pursuing that as my career option. But because I was not pursuing the education that I wanted to, I had to take another route. And I have been a very easygoing person. I would rather sometimes, go with the flow. I would not really think about, what's going to be next for me until and unless I want to do something with my own, wish or willingness. It has been like, for a simple example would be like my father. He used to be. He let my brother take science because he thought he was able to do it. He knew my educational limitations, my capacity of learning things. He knew that I may not be able to achieve certain things basis his own understanding, and he knew that my brother would be able to do something, versus on the other hand. So which is in a way that his own experiences spoke, I would say. um Wherein in terms of like my decisions in life, if I go to see, they have been basis my own in instincts. um it's never been like, okay, if I've decided I want to do sound engineering, I would make it or break it. I didn't really have that kind of an option. I was not earning to support my own education at that time, right? So I took another route of doing something that I would be more passionate about. I was inconsistent in the start because I didn't know where to begin from. I didn't really have that kind of a knowledge. Neither my parents, because my mom was a graduate, but though she was a housewife. And, she didn't know if there was something called as, public relations back then. She didn't know if there was some
Right,
option like human resources.
right.
Neither, she knew anything with regards to entertainment or media. So for me, it was a difficult time. I mean, I didn't really have that kind of different understanding of what are the options that I would have after I graduate, and which
Yeah.
is why there were so many switch in my career option.
What did
And
your mom study?
sorry,
What did your mom study?
she was a BCom graduate.
Okay, so
Yeah.
business as well. Okay,
Hmm.
so where are you now? What's your identity?
Well, I currently I am seeking. I would say I just quit my job, um, taking my own sweet time, trying to seek something for myself. I'm taking this time to look inward, trying to understand the meaning of my life. I'm practicing meditation of late, because I do feel, and I'm trying to learn. Something that I can give back to people. That's something that I have been thinking about, and I'm trying to work on it. It's still in the initial process, stage, I would say. And yeah, and I've been working. I was working in the last company as a senior manager in public relations, and hoping to get a new job soon after a few months or weeks break. And yeah, that's where I am right now.
Right, right. But that's more like what you are doing right now
Mhm.
and what you have done. But my question is, who are you? What is your identity?
uh, I am a free bird. I am a very spiritual, at the same time, a little religious person. And I'm me as a person. I am introvert. I'm a mixture of introvert and extrovert. I really like being in my own space. I enjoy my own company. But as an individual, I am, I'm a very calm and positive person in life, no matter, what I go through or any hardship. If anyone would tell me today that, you can't do this, I will try to make sure that, I would try and find a way, an alternative to reach the point where I want to be. So I'm a self-driven, person. At the same time, I'm self-made person. I have been able to make myself whatever I'm today with my parents' support, but on my own merit, I would say. So yeah, that's what my identity would be.
Okay. So, what does the future hold for you? Let's paint a picture of you in 60 years' time. What does that, not 60 years' time, but at the age 60, what does that look like for you? What are you doing?
Um, I hope I can, teach meditation or yoga to people. That's something that I want to do. I want to give back to people in some way, by learning some skills or skill set. And I would want to retire in a beautiful home by the mountains or by the sea, and have my own entrepreneur or my own company where I can teach people certain skill set that I've learned over the years.
Yeah. Do you see yourself with a family, with kids?
Yes, I would want to have family and kids, but not really sure when's that going to happen. But I do hope that happens soon.
Okay. So talk to me about spirituality. Talk to me about, um, so your grandmother was a very pious lady. She had tradition in terms of, I'm assuming it's called, would you refer to that culture as a Hindu culture? Is that what it is? Or is this, yeah, okay. So she had a very pious Hindu tradition. Um,
Right.
So talk to me a little bit more about Hinduism, what Hinduism is, um,
Mhm.
what um, what your meaning of life is, and what do you think about spirituality? What does that mean to you?
Well, yes, Hinduism is a vast culture, to be honest. Every individual would have a different take on it because, from what I have learned as a child, I have learned about different verses of Ramayana, Gita, Mahabharata, everything that we have learned and seen and heard from our, grandparents or parents. Um, Hinduism for me is, an in-depth knowledge about your Lord or your Almighty. That there is an image that has been created since you are a child, like either by your parents or by your grandparents. For me, um, religion is, I respect all religion, to be honest, whether it is Christianity, Hinduism, or Muslim culture, or any culture, to be honest. And I believe in one source of energy. I don't really believe that there is one god or two god, three god. Though there are many idols that we worship in India, I do believe in the mythology that I have learned as a child, um, whether it is about Lord Shiva or his wife Parvati, or even if it is about their kid Ganesha. I have learned a lot of stories. They are beautiful mythological stories. They do have beautiful meaning and message behind it. And for me, spirituality is about a journey where you are trying to seek your own identity, your own individuality. For every individual, I wouldn't really say the journey that is, you know, maybe the path that I am taking to my spirituality could not be the same for the other individual. They would find spirituality in a different form. Um, it's just the medium that we are trying to connect ourselves to the higher consciousness or your, the power that you believe in. So yeah, I mean, for me, when I I do religious things, like, I do fast during our religious days. Like, Christians have Lent. We Gujaratis or Hindus, we do have a month called Shravan. So it's a spiritual holy month. We do our fasting, it's a way to, feel that, you're doing something or giving up your favorite thing in order to just, break the monotony that you have been living. Scientifically, it is good in a way because you're trying to train your body in multiple pattern by fasting. You are also breaking the monotonous way of eating pattern or habit, so you're detoxing yourself. I mean, I would also take it in that manner as well. Um, but yeah, for me, if you're asking, my grandparents taught me a lot of stories about Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva. To be and it's mythical, but but there is a sense where I do believe in those stories. When I hear them, I want to know more about them, and that is why I feel connected back to my roots. You know, for yeah, I mean that's what spirituality or being religious is to me.
Yeah, it's very interesting because before I go into this a little bit further, so your belief is that um, so we exist, you're alive, you're here right now, you're talking
Right,
to me. This is reality, right?
of
How did
course.
you get here? How did humans get here? How did the universe get here? Um, how did we come into existence? What's your understanding?
Um, I do feel that there is a power or an energy that has created us. I mean, we didn't really just happen for out of the blue, right? I mean, yes,
So
there
you
are
don't
scientific
believe that the
reasons.
universe, so you don't believe that the universe is random.
No, I don't believe it is random.
Okay. So because, a lot of people, particularly in the West, will have this idea that, you know, everything has happened by chance, and that we just exist. So there is an interpretation, there is an option to think like that here. Whereas what it sounds like is that isn't even an option. That is not not as in it's not available to think about, but it's not even ever a consideration. Do you get what I'm saying? It's always the position is that there is something bigger or greater than ourselves.
Of course.
We're not here for no reason. Okay. So
Absolutely. I'm sure there is
what
a purpose
is
of us being in this world, right? Just think about it, because whatever we are doing, wherever we are today, it started from zero, right? I mean, I'm sure that there is some sort of an energy. I'm saying it could be anything. I'm not just saying it's just, a particular God, but there is a sense of energy that created us as humans or animals or any organism on this planet. It just did not happen by chance. At least that's what I believe in.
right? So how do you rationalize that?
Well, when you try to connect, I mean, for me, when I try to look inward, like, I do believe sometimes, there could be life after death. I do believe in existence of another world after your life as well.
Right, but
Um,
how do
it,
you rationalize it? Because belief is one thing. I can believe many things. Do you get what I'm saying? But it doesn't
right,
mean they're true. So, I
right,
mean, no one has left this earth and then come back, right? So there's
right.
no guarantee of what is on the other side. So how do you believe that to be true, as opposed to how do you kind of rationalize that to be true, as opposed to it just being something that you have reflected over?
Okay. When I when you basically when someone asks me that question, I never really knew that if I could believe in such a term, whether there is life after death or not. But I mean, a couple of years ago, when I was reading a particular book, it was on out of body transformation. I do believe in science, and at the same time, I am a little spiritual person. So it's a little contradictory thing, sometimes the way I think, you know. Um, I was reading the book, and it did have. I'm just giving an example. So there was an incident that took place of a pilot who was, flying his own plane. He was in a warship or so. Um, he was supposed to jump out of his plane while he was, his airplane kind of broke down, and he faced a situation where his soul transported from his body, and he could see himself. It's a real book. I would be able to share the name of the book. I can't really remember offhand right now, but it did speak about that there is a soul in every single individual or every living thing on this planet. And when I read that book, I did see that you can transport your soul from your body, and you can go or move around, and you can come back. So there are scientifically proven things where, and if that is a reality for me, if I've read that book and if I've seen something like that and if I've heard something like that, I would want to believe it because it is scientifically proven as well, right? The
How
similar
is it
case,
scientifically proven?
I mean, a lot of people have experienced it. So they have said you can actually reach the point of be able to do something like that when you meditate. I think when in ancient Hinduism,
Right.
um, sorry, go ahead. You were saying something.
No, I was saying, how do you differentiate between when you experience something in your mind? How do you
Hmm.
differentiate between something that is real and something that is not real that you think is real?
Well, I think the only way to do that is when you experience it. I don't think so. Otherwise, you're going to be able to differentiate, right? But
But that's
for
what I'm trying to say. When you experience it, what's the difference between me had? So what you're saying is the guy had an out of body experience.
correct.
So when he has that out of body experience, at what when? How do you know when that out of body experience is real versus its imagination? you sometimes are in dreams, and those dreams are so real that you perspire. It's called a nightmare, and you wake up. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's so vivid that you think you're actually experiencing it, but you're not. So
Right.
at what point do you believe that something is real and something is imaginary?
I believe,
How?
like, um, it's basically a point. I think there is a thin line, like, when you actually experience a similar situation, is when you're going to be able to believe whether it's real or not. For instance, I mean, if I have known a person, okay, there has been, and I'll just give you a simple example. Okay, there was someone in my family who I have heard that that person had actually died. Okay, it was proven that the person has, completely, the body is not functioning. The doctors had said that the body is not functioning of that individual. Okay, but before we were, the family was going for the last rites or the cremation towards the, the crematory ground, is when the person or the individual actually came back to life. Okay, and when the person has actually come back to life, he has shared his own experience. He said that, okay, this is, I am alive. Okay, I know I was dead for a while, but I know this is what is going to happen. So I mean, I do feel that there are energies, or there is something that ignites us from within, which is why we are able to function as, which is why our human body is, even alive. We are breathing because we have a source of light or life inside us, and these are the kind of examples that I've seen around me, and what has changed my perception of we just becoming, but we living a life by chance, or it's you know I mean, I feel that we are living a life because we have a purpose behind it, and it's not just by chance. And
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
How did the universe originate?
Of course, I mean, scientifically proven, if you're going to see, it is through the Big Bang, and the different, uh, you know, it's after the Big Bang, obviously, is when the Earth was created. But I do believe that there are similar many different planets like Earth in the universe, and they are into existence. And I'm sure, but we have not really got track of it, but I'm sure there are so many different universe or multiple galaxies in this space. We just one fish in the pond, I would say.
Yeah. So, how do you follow Darwin's theory of evolution? Do you believe where did humans come into the sequence? How did we
Um,
come to be?
how did we?
How did humans come? Do you
Well, we
believe in
act.
Darwin, the evolutionary theory, or something else?
No, I do believe in evolutionary theory, because that's how we humans came into existence, right? Where we actually came into existence so many years ago, and where, I mean, we were first animals, right? Like, that's how we evolved, and that's how we became into humans. There were apes, and then there was human age, and that's how we came into existence.
So you believe we've evolved from monkeys, right?
Of course,
From
we.
from apes.
I believe that. Yes.
Okay. So how do you reconcile the science, the Big Bang, and Darwin's evolutionary theory with Hinduism? How do you reconcile the two different um, stories?
Well, I think the Big Bang and everything happened years ago, and Hinduism came into existing, like, say, about 20,000 or 30,000 years ago. And yeah, I mean, when the Big Bang happened, I think there were, that's how we humans came into existence. But then I believe, there were the cultures, and, individuality came into existence only when we evolved as humans, right? There were different cultures that came into existence, and Hinduism, I mean, to be honest, has come into existence. when I mean, I don't really know in-depth knowledge about it, but back in the centuries, what I have learned, everything was created according to Hindu mythology. The earth was created by Lord Brahma. Okay, he was the one who started the institution to create a different form of life, a different system of life on the planet Earth. That's how Hinduism came into existence. It came into existence through his only son, who started the Hindu culture on the planet. And that's how the entire culture came into existence. That's how the caste and different levels of people were set into parameters, and that's how the existence of Hindu culture came into existence.
Right, right. So I'm saying, how do you reconcile that belief with your understanding of evolutionary theory and the Big Bang? Uh, the idea that someone you see it as mythology, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying, how do you understand or how do you interpret the mythology in relation to okay, let's ask it this way. What is the role of mythology in your understanding of how to live life? What is the purpose of mythology? Why does mythology exist? And why is it mythology as opposed to, evolution, Big Bang, or, just facts?
Um, So for me, the mythology has the reason it has been created or been shared from generation to generation to us is to give you a different perspective or meaning to your life. It has a different, lessons that has been shared through the experiences that were faced back in the days. Um, in terms of existence, or if you ask me the correlation between the Big Bang or existence of the mythology, um, I believe it just gives one message to me. At least for me, I understand it as one thing that mythology or the Big Bang has a correlation. There is one source of energy that has created us humans, which came into existence, and that's how we all are here to live a purpose of a life and to serve a meaning.
Right. But isn't
Right.
the mythology a distraction as opposed to and that's why I'm trying to understand how you use the mythology. For me, like, wouldn't it be a distraction from the reality of life?
Correct. I would agree to that. It would be a distraction towards, when you're trying to scientifically prove the Big Bang, and if you try to correlate it to the mythology that you have learned, you might get distracted. Of course, yes, I do agree to that. But at the same time, for me, mythology has created a path for me to understand a few things. In a way to how an individual can live their own life. There are so many different verses, there are so many different situations that has been shared, which actually can be implemented in today's life. Okay, which is how I try to, when I try to learn something from mythology, is not to get distracted from the, existence or non-existence purpose, right? What I try to do is I take the stories to implement those things in my today's life cycle, and that would definitely help me to be a better human being, because we as humans have different we have emotions, we have feelings, we have anger, we have jealousy, and Indian mythology does have all these small stories, or they do have so many obstacles that the lord or the different humans or the maharajas might have faced during their time or phases, right? And it teaches us the right path of living. It teaches us which path one should take versus what not to take. So that's
Yeah.
how I try to balance myself when you ask me about coexistence or the distraction that might affect me from mythology.
Right, right. So what you're saying is there is life, there is existence. You believe you're alive. You're
Hmm.
dealing with your reality.
Hmm.
You've been put into a system that has a particular way of storytelling,
Of course.
and through that storytelling, you're able to relate to different situations in life, and you're
Right.
using the storytelling to
Right.
glean the wisdom through which you can
Hmm.
uh, operate in the reality of life, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Of
Yeah.
course.
So, um, how do so you have the Hindu caste system,
Hmm.
and it served something in its history,
Hmm.
but now it seems to be less relevant. Is that would my observation be correct or incorrect?
Why would you say that?
I'm saying, for example, that
Hmm.
when you have the economic system and you have
Hmm.
education, people
Correct.
from different castes are able to go into an educational system and
Okay.
then choose a career that they want. So what I'm
Right.
saying is, if then their economics isn't related to their caste, is it
Hmm.
relevant?
No. I mean, how economics would be related to your caste?
So
I mean,
I mean that my understanding is that the caste system is related to something that you're born into,
right.
and that you have defined boundaries in that caste of what you
Right.
can and can't do,
Right.
right? So what you
Yeah.
can and can't do relates to how you live life, how you operate in life, what you do in life. So
Hmm.
the modern system of education is your access to what you want to do in life. So
Correct.
you can choose through the education what you want to do,
Of
irrespective
course.
of where you've been born into or what you've been born
Right.
into.
Right. So for well, the caste system doesn't really give you boundaries, to be honest. When you talk about Hinduism, or if you're born in a particular caste or culture, and you're
What is a
taking an
caste? What's the
so for
definition of
example,
a caste?
a caste would be in India. We have many caste system. Okay, we have Brahmins, we have Jain, which is another
Right, right.
caste.
But what defines a caste? Like, why would you be in one category as opposed to another? What is a caste?
Um, it's basically an old way, or I would say an old format of how people used to differentiate from one community, one set of people to another set of people. So there could be, people from, there used to be a lot of upper caste, lower caste, high caste sort of a thing in India back in the days. But I don't really see that happening in the country anymore, because every single individual, because people are educated, people are living, are more open towards different things in life, right? Because they're being educated, they are able to open their mind. They are trying to they're trying to be not restricted with their thought processes, and which is kind of now evolving across the country. And earlier, there used to be a lot of discrimination. There is in some part of India today also, but I do believe that caste is just a way of restricting a set of community or set of people, so that they are not able to reach the level where the other people are. I mean, that's how they
Right.
wanted to you
But
know
that's my
you know
point, though, right?
mm,
That is what I was saying. That's my point.
right,
That the
right,
system, the caste system, is boundary setting.
of course.
The educational system breaks boundaries. So
Right.
when you look at Hinduism and you look at the stories and you
Hmm.
talk about a caste system, so the caste system was perpetuated with the mythology of Hinduism, right?
Right. Right.
So if it was perpetuated, then you can now see that that system isn't um, how the reality works, that people from different castes can all get educated, and then they
Right.
go into the same jobs, even if they are from different castes, and they perform in the same way,
Of
then
course.
how do you reconcile the mythology and that being, the right way
Right.
of doing something
Right.
versus what the reality is and what the reality is shown?
So let me break it down this way. So, like how I'm trying to say, like, the caste system was imbibed in the Hinduism culture, right, back in the days. But then there are these mythological stories that also speak about, having equal opportunity for all caste people, whether it is high caste or low caste people. Okay,
Right.
there has been.
But does someone at the bottom can become a Brahmin?
See, you cannot become a Brahmin, but then obviously the equal rights were, was the kind of a message that was also kind of, spread back in the days as well.
Right.
There
But
are a few stories.
how is it equal rights though if you aren't able to um, have the same access? Like someone of a higher caste
Hmm,
would not want to experience the experiences of somebody in a lower caste,
right.
but the one in the lower caste would want to experience the experiences of a higher caste. But I don't see equality, because the equality
Right.
would be that the one that's at the top can get to the bottom, but
Hmm.
equally the one at the bottom can get to the top.
Right. Right. No, so no, you're right. I mean, when you're saying that, it's absolutely right. But I do feel that, I mean, I have never really experienced that kind of differences, to be honest, since the time I have learned or educated myself or been in the space that I am right now. But when I do read about a few mythological stories, or, when you watch the kind of, or read about them, or you hear about them, you do see that there were, there was a sense of equality. There were disparity back in the days that, the high caste people would not want to be at where the low caste people are. But what I have learned is, there was discrimination, but at the same time, there were these moments of, giving equality to the lower caste people, so that even they can do the similar things that were, they could be educated with the same kids who were being educated back in the days, who are Kshatriyas, or maybe who are warriors, or who are even Brahmins for that matter. There were people who tried to set the culture of, or fought for equality. Okay. And and that also happened just because of the fact there was education back then as well. There were people who did think beyond just caste or discrimination. People who, there were a set of people who did not really want to, be compared to the low caste or a community people. But then there were these people who wanted to break the chain, or, think beyond that. And they wanted to think about, how humans in general should be treated equally. And why is it that, the benefit that has been given to the higher caste or the community person would not be given to the lower caste or community person? So, um, I would say, as humans, we have faced this from generation to generation, not just in Hinduism or in, any other community, or, religion, to be honest. I believe that every single country or every single community has faced this from generation to generation. And there would be one such person or an individual who has always evolved to be passing the message of bringing the equality amongst the human race, because that's exactly why we all exist. That's what I feel, that, that's, we all should be treated equally. The reason, because you you have two hands, you have two nose, you have two eyes, you have one nose. Every single individual looks the same. It's just different color or different features, but we all have the same purpose. We all have come, with the same motto, that you want to do something for yourself. You want to be better as a human. And why should there be any kind of discrimination when everyone's goal is to achieve something, whether it is spiritually or religiously? I think we all come with single motto, and hence I feel that whatever that Hinduism or Hindu culture that was set back in the days did have some sole purpose behind it, but has evolved because of the education, or because of the thoughts that we would have of um, thinking beyond what we all are living as humans in this life.
So let's go deeper into spirituality. What is the meaning of life? What is it? What is the meaning of life for a human being? Why do we exist?
Uh, for me, the meaning, we all exist with a sole purpose to um, at least give back something to the people. For me, I would say spirituality to me is, I want to give back something to people that I have learned. It could be anything. It could be, the sense of calmness that I would have, or the way of life that I have lived. It could not be the same. The same pattern would not really be 100% accurate for you, but even if you take few good qualities from an individual and try to implement those energies into your own existence, it can take you to it can evolve you as a better human being. um, I, as an individual, I am still trying to learn what is the purpose of my life. So I would not really be able to tell you that, what is the purpose of human being on this planet. But yes, I would say that, our sole purpose should be to be kind to each other, to love, and, you know, do good things so that you can leave a good, a positive footprint behind for the generations to come, so that they can understand they cannot exploit things that are easily available to them. Value things that you have around you, and because that's what is going to build your future. Because if we exploit things that we have easily available to us, I don't think so we're going to leave anything behind for the rest of the generation that's going to come tomorrow. And
Yeah. So, so that's like the practical, right?
right, right,
It's a practical answer of how to deal with reality as it is. But the reality also is that we've been created, meaning that you say
right,
that the universe is non-random, which means
right.
there's a design or a meaning.
Mm.
Why would the universe be created for the sole purpose of human beings giving back? Why create the whole universe with galaxies and other planets? The whole detail of chemistry and genetics and physics and all that information. Why put all that together and then put the human into existence for them just um, to serve or to give back? What would be the purpose of creating all that just for that reason?
Well, think about it this way. I would say, it's a good. I mean, it's a good practice, right? Like, we exist. The reason I feel that we exist is, because we have a purpose, right? Every individual has a different mindset. Every human being thinks differently. You would agree to certain things that I say, and I would disagree to certain things that you would say. And but at the same time, don't you think so? We all exist because we want to learn something or the other. It's a simple example,
Right, right. But what I'm asking is a little bit different. I'm saying, why does the
right.
universe exist for us to learn? Why, if the universe is non-random and it's been intentional, what
Mm-hmm.
is the intention? What's the significance of having to exist to learn? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why create a system for that? What's the point? How does it serve the force that exists to create a system where human beings learn?
Well, I feel that the reason it has been created is so that I mean, I feel that it is created so that we learn from each other.
Right, right.
It
But
is
you're not, you're missing my question, which is
right.
why would you
Why?
create a system where the human being is here to learn? What benefit would it serve you to create a system where the human exists to learn?
Um, okay, I get it. The reason I feel that the universe is created for us, yeah, I know what he's saying is, the what is the purpose for the universe to create us? To learn from each other, right? Is
How
that
yeah, how does that serve the universe? How does
um
that serve whoever or whatever created the universe?
well, I feel that whoever created the universe wanted to um make us individuals who are independent, and that in a way, like it is the system that has been created so that we learn from our own experiences. And I mean, I feel that the what universe would benefit from this is um, whatever it has. Okay, it is served to us in different equations, and whatever we are learning from the universe is through our own experiences, right? And um, I wouldn't really say the energy that created us wants. I believe that it wants us to grow as an individual through each other's experiences, through our own experiences, and that's how we will be able to benefit um, you know the growth of our life and our own existence. To be to How would I say this? For example, me as an individual, I am learning things from my own experiences, what I have learned through probably with what I have seen around me, and what the universe benefits from it. This is, if I am being positive, if I'm throwing, I believe that there is a sense of energy that kind of drives you to be, positive, or I think I'm deviating from the topic a little bit, but
No, feel free to speak as you want.
yeah, no. So basically, I feel that whatever energy that we create or we emit can influence the opposite individual, and our existence is an individual experience. You know, to be honest, and I feel that I think I'm just being a little lost. I think I've lost the track
No, I
of what.
understand what you're saying, and you're answering a question that I haven't asked, which is basically you believe that the reason that the human exists is that they're here to experience, and through their experiences they learn, and through that
Right,
learning they acquire knowledge, and through that acquisition of knowledge they're giving back. And so
right,
the journey is to go through experiences to gain knowledge, and through that knowledge give back, so that you're serving
right.
the human species, you're serving existence.
The nature or the existence around you. Yeah.
Right, okay. So so how do you, or do you connect with this force, this thing that what name would you call that force, or that thing that governs the universe, or has put the universe into place?
I wouldn't really give it a name, to be honest. I just believe in the source of energy
Right,
that
but
basically.
isn't there a word that Hinduism uses? How do you describe that?
Mm, um,
Is that one of the gods? Is it? I've heard of the word
I
Paramatman.
personally believe. Sorry?
Paramatman, is that a word?
Paramatma. Yeah. Paramatma is the, another name for God or the Almighty or your Lord. I personally believe in Lord Shiva, and even if I do believe in the source of energy. I've learned things like there are three gods in Hindu culture who created the universe. Apparently, the Lord Brahma, who's the creator. Okay, Lord Vishnu, he's the one who runs the world, and Lord Shankar or Mahadev or Shiva, he's the one who destroys. Destroys in the term, anything negative or anything that is negative that happens on the world, or any negative source of energy has
Sorry, say
kind
that
of.
again because I lost you. I lost you. The sound when you were saying there were three gods that created the universe. Who were they again?
Lord Brahma, he is the creator,
Hmm.
according to Hindu mythology. Lord Vishnu is the one who runs the world, like who puts the system, or the human race. That's
Yeah,
how it came into existence. The system that we follow, that is run by Lord Vishnu, and
right.
Lord Shiva is the one who is the destroyer. Destroy in terms of anything negative, anything bad that we are being influenced with. He is the destroyer of anything that is negative in that we come in contact with. That's how it is termed. I'm very religious believer of Lord Shiva. I do try and understand the stories that are there, the few stories that I've heard or read about him. But for me, when you ask me if I want to name, any spiritual or, any God or Paramatma, I would say that I believe in one source of energy that brings us all together, and that yeah, that is my sole purpose of, that's how I believe in spirituality or my
Yeah.
own.
So does that entity exist and we connect with it, or is it independent of us and we don't need to connect with it?
You don't need to connect with it. I feel that the energy or the source of God that we all have been talking in different ways exists within us. I believe that all you need to do is you can focus, you can meditate, you can try and connect with your higher consciousness through channeling your concentration, or you know bringing yourself together in your peace of mind, where you can try to connect with your higher conscious levels in order to be one with the universe. Because whatever source of energy that you try to emit will you know bring you more positivity. It will bring you more, it will give you the right space or direction of life. That's how I think spirituality or being religious is, it's two different things. But if you think you want to walk in a path where you don't believe in a particular god or idol or any particular figure which defines God, it's absolutely normal. Because I believe that every single human being that is, or living being that is there on this planet, has a source of energy that has created us, and it's more than enough for you to believe in that. And I believe in that philosophy, to be honest.
Right. So what is consciousness? You mentioned the idea of you connecting to consciousness. What is
Well,
consciousness?
uh, being more conscious about your own existence, about your own purpose of life. The moment we start asking these questions is when I feel that you are becoming more aware about what you want to do beyond, um, the um, you know it's basically a process of doing beyond than what we have been consistently been doing as human beings. uh, a simple example, like you're doing your daily chores, but is there a particular reason why you are doing it? Is there, sometimes I do get these questions that I ask myself: why is it that I do exist on this earth? Is there something beyond? Is there a reason why a particular thing is happening to me in a certain manner? Why is it could be my actions or reactions, if you go to see. But at the same time, um, when I talk about my conscious level, like there are times when I look inward and I ask myself these questions: why do I exist? Is there a reason for me um, to look at a particular situation in a different manner, so that I know the purpose of my life or my own existence?
Right. So, but you said you haven't come up with an answer.
Yeah, I haven't, to be honest, because I think I'm still trying to learn more about myself, because I don't really know, because it's not that easy when you try to ask these questions to yourself. Is when I feel that you're being more conscious about your own self, about what you want to do beyond what you're doing in life, apart from just doing that daily job, or achieving certain goal or a career, or living a normal pattern of life that we've been learning throughout our lives, right? Like at the age of 20 you have to do education. After you become 25 plus, you should get settled, you get married, you do xyz. These are the things that we have learned. But if you're thinking that that you want to do something more than what you have been doing, you want to offer more to people around you, is when I feel that you're being more conscious about things in life. You are becoming more sensitive towards um, your purpose of life, your own existence. That's what I feel is, and when you will be able to do all these things, or how you would be able to connect all these things, is when you actually spend some time with your own self. Either by shutting your eyes, not really meditating. It's just by giving that time and space to your own self, asking those questions to yourself, and understanding why you're doing what you're doing.
Okay. What do you think of, what is Islam to you, or Christianity, or Buddhism, or Judaism, or Sikhism? What are all these things for you?
I think these are just different cultures. It has the same meaning and purpose towards the end of it. Like I said, I respect all religion. I have friends who are from different caste or religions, whether they're Muslims, they're Hindus, they're Christians. And what I've learned is every religion has very thin similarities, but the main motto every religion teaches you is you need to be more conscious about people around you. You need to be more kind. No religion has taught anybody to discriminate or treat the opposite person of a very low standard or so. It just gives you the knowledge about being one with each other. It is it also asks you to connect you to the almighty that you believe in, and walk on the path of being kind, spreading love, and yeah, walk on the journey which has less of anger, jealousy, or anything that is to do with negativity or wrong.
What is love?
Love is a beautiful feeling. It is an emotion that we all want, or it could be in a way where we face with the children, or your siblings, or your parents, or even your husband, your boyfriend. It comes in different aspect. I mean, love is between friends. Love is between you and your grandparents. It's just a beautiful feeling and emotion that we all face in our day-to-day life.
Okay. So let's. We've gone on a little bit longer than I was
Yeah.
anticipating, but
Yeah.
this is the beauty of at least YouTube, that you can carry on. Instagram, you have to finish in an hour,
Yeah.
which can be
Right.
positive and it can be negative. But um, I always feel, wherever the conversation's going, I try and keep it going. So I have a couple of questions, just short questions. So you've answered the first one. My question is, are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Hmm. I am actually, um, I would say I'm an extrovert. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as emotional or rational?
Emotional.
Okay. And are you a realist or an idealist?
Realist.
Okay. And in terms of risk taking, are you a risk taker or are you more risk averse?
risk taker.
Okay. Do you see yourself as being more practical or more intellectual?
Mm, I I wouldn't say I'm a very practical person. I would be an intellectual person, to be honest.
Okay. And would you say you prefer certainty or uncertainty?
Uncertainty.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you were to describe yourself as an animal, what kind of animal would you describe yourself as?
Okay, that's a difficult one. Like I wouldn't say, but I do know that I can relate myself to a butterfly because it's some, some sort of, it's an insect, or it's a creature that never really stays still. That's what I can relate myself to be honest. I'm not
Right.
stable.
Unstable.
Yeah.
What other
Like I like,
qualities?
sorry,
Yeah. So
what?
what other qualities do you think you possess of another of a butterfly? If you had to name three qualities, one is that you are constantly fluttering, moving. What
Yes.
else?
Um, I'm quite vibrant, and as an individual, I have very open mind, or and another quality that I would say at the same time, I'm very calm. When you see a butterfly, still on a flower, it is, very much like in sync with that process, right? So at the same time, though I'm very, fluttering or moving, very fast paced, or unstable, I can definitely be very calm at the same time.
Yeah. Where do you get your calmness from?
I would say from my mother.
Yeah. So
Definitely.
she's calm and she got it from her mother. And
Yes.
then,
I
okay.
think she got it from her father, not from her mother.
Okay. Okay. So so it's something that you are by nature as opposed to something that you've developed.
Yes, of course.
Okay. And then my final question to you is really about, they say you're the average of the five people that you most hang out with. So if you wanted to raise your average,
Hmm.
and it was a fantasy scenario, you could choose people from the past, present, or future. Who would
Okay.
those five people be that you would want to most hang out with?
I would want to hang out with my maternal grandfather. He's not alive anymore. He's not living anymore. But yes, I didn't really get to know him more, but I think he would be one of it. My mother, of course, because I get to learn a lot from her, and uh, you know, she's a very diverse person, and of course, and three more people I've got, right?
Right.
Okay, I would definitely want to learn a little more from Dalai Lama,
Mhm.
because he comes. I would want to meet him in person if ever got a chance, and know and understand him and his ideologies. Um, Two more people. I would definitely. Who? Three people. Okay, Okay, it's difficult. I definitely would. Could it be anybody who is alive, not alive? Sort
Yeah,
of.
past, present, or future, anybody, anything.
Hmm. I I think I don't know. I think I'm okay with these three people.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Final message.
um, Final message. I would just say that do what your heart says. Do what drives you and motivates you, and just be kind to people, even who are not kind to you. I know it's a difficult way to look at it or behave in that particular manner, but yes, do what makes you happy. That's the only thing that's going to drive you ahead in life. Because if you're not happy, you're not going to be able to do what you are trying to accomplish in life. So, yeah,
Perfect. Ruchi, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you.
thank
And
you.
thank you for everybody who's watching. All right. Take
Thank
care.
you. Yeah. Take care. Bye bye. See ya.